Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into Hyderabad.
Yes, a city in India with, well, quite a story, ancient roots, but also very modern.
Exactly. And you're here because you want to get the real picture, fast, but also deep. That's what we do.
Uh-huh. We've got some great source material on Hyderabad.
And our mission today is really to pull out the most compelling bits, the surprising stuff, to give you that insightful understanding.
Yeah, to really explore that interplay between its past and, its very dynamic present, how one shapes the other.
Okay, so let's dive in. History first. It goes way back. Our source starts in 1591
That's the founding, yes. Muhammad Quali Qapi Shah.
of the Quabi Shahi dynasty.
Right. And this was significant because Hyderabad actually took over from Golconda as the capital.
Golconda. That was already a big deal, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The Golconda Sultanate was powerful, rich, think diamond mines, incredible wealth. They were patrons of art, architecture.
Building Hyderabad was like a strategic move.
Very much so. Solidified their power, allowed for this magnificent new city to develop. It really set the stage for Hyderabad's long history as a cultural and administrative hub.
A purpose-built capital.
Yeah.
And after the Quatbay Shahis came the Nizams, another incredibly wealthy line of rulers.
Yes, the Nizams took over in the early 18th century, and they really amplified Hyderabad's importance.
How so?
Well, they ruled a huge, very wealthy princely state. They continued that tradition of cultural patronage, administrative sophistication. Hyderabad under them was dazzling, really a center of power.
You can still see that wealth in some of the buildings, I imagine.
Definitely. Their fortunes, their global connections,
Yeah.
it all left a massive mark on the city's character, its architecture.
So a long period of sort of independent flourishing. Then 1948, Operation Polo. Sounds dramatic.
It was a major shift. After India's independence, Hyderabad initially stayed separate, a princely state.
Right.
Operation Polo was the Indian government's move, they called it a police action, to integrate Hyderabad into the Indian Union.
And that was the end of the Nizam's rule.
Yes, a complete watershed moment. It fundamentally changed the city's path, making it part of the new nation of India.
Wow. Quite the historical journey.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Geographically, where are we talking about?
Hyderabad sits on the Deccan Plateau. The Musi River runs through it.
And the climate. Deccan Plateau sounds like it could be hot.
It definitely has its seasons. It's technically tropical, wet, and dry. So you get really hot summers. Temperatures can hit 40, 45 Celsius even.
Okay.
Then the monsoon rolls in June to September, bringing needed rain. And the winters are actually quite pleasant, mild, maybe 10 to 25 degrees Celsius November to February.
A city that really experiences all the seasons then. Now, the people. Our
Yeah.
source says it's huge, over 10 million.
In the greater Hyderabad metropolitan area, yes, it's India's fourth most populous city.
That's massive. Tells you a lot about its importance today.
Absolutely. It's a major urban center, pulls people in for opportunities. Its economic and social weight in India is undeniable.
And with that size and history, what's the mix like? Languages, religion?
Well, officially, the languages are Telugu and Urdu.
Which makes sense given the history.
Exactly. It reflects those layers of rule. But practically speaking, English and Hindi are very widely used too. Lots of diversity, lots of migrants.
And religion.
It's majority Hindu, but there's a very significant Muslim community dating back centuries, plus sizable Christian, Jain, and Sikh populations too. It's a real mosaic of faiths.
That mix must create a unique culture. The source mentions Deccani culture, a blend of Persian, Mughal, South Indian influences. What does that actually feel like?
It's fascinating. You really do see and feel that synthesis. Like in the architecture, you might see Persian-style arches next to South Indian design elements.
Okay.
You hear it in the distinct Hyderabadi Urdu dialect, and maybe most famously, you taste it.
The food. Biryani, obviously.
Biryani, halim, nihari. These dishes might have roots in Mughlai, Turkish, Arabic cooking, but they've become uniquely Hyderabadi over time. Local spices, local twists. It's living history on a plate, really.
It's amazing how food carries culture like that. And beyond food. Urdu poetry is mentioned, Ghalib, Makhdoom Mohyuddin.
Yes, Hyderabad was a major center for Urdu literature, especially under royal patronage. They had these famous gatherings, musharas.
Poetic gathering.
Exactly, fostered incredible creativity. Poets like Ghalib, who spent time there, and Makhdoom Mohyuddin, a more revolutionary poet, they thrived in that environment.
And visually, the architecture must be stunning. Charminar, Golconda Fort.
Iconic landmarks, they're not just structures, they tell the story. Charminar, built soon after the city's founding.
Right in the old city center.
Yeah. Golconda Fort, even older, speaks to earlier power and defense. Chamahala Palace gives you a peek into the Nizam's opulent life.
It's all this sort of Indo-Islamic style.
Primarily, yes, that elegant mix of Persian aesthetics with local Indian traditions. It's a visual summary of the cultural fusion.
Okay, so building on this incredibly rich base, Hyderabad has pulled off this huge economic shift from the city of pearls
Right, famous for pearl and diamond trading historically.
to Cyberabad. That's quite a leap. What happened?
A combination of things, really. India's economic liberalization in the 90s was key. Plus, a very proactive state government focused on building tech infrastructure.
And they had the groundwork already.
Yeah, good educational institutions, a skilled workforce. That definitely helped attract the investment needed to become this major IT and biotech hub.
It's not just IT, though, is it? The source mentions other big industries.
No, it's quite diverse now. IT and IT-enabled services are huge, yes, but pharmaceuticals and biotech are also massive strengths, building on an older pharma base in the area.
Okay.
And then there's real estate construction booming alongside the growth. And we can't forget Tollywood.
The Telugu film
Yes,
industry.
exactly. Centered nearby in film Nagar. It's a big economic driver, too.
And it's drawn in the global giants.
Right.
Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Facebook. Their presence must be huge.
It really is. They have major campuses, development centers, particularly in areas like HI Tech City, Gachibowli, Madhapur. It just shows Hyderabad's global standing in tech now.
It speaks volumes about the talent pool and the infrastructure.
Precisely. It's the whole ecosystem they've managed to build there.
And that kind of growth usually relies on strong education. The source lists some pretty prestigious names.
Absolutely critical. You've got older, established places like the University of Hyderabad, Osmania University.
Long histories there.
Right. And then newer powerhouses like the Indian School of Business, ISB, and at Third Hyderabad, the International Institute of Information Technology.
Lineage places.
Definitely. Producing the graduates needed for tech, biotech, management, plus NFT for fashion design. It's a strong educational base.
And it's not just teaching, right? There's serious research happening, too.
That's a key part. Major national research centers are based there, DRDO for defense research, CSIR-CCMB for cellular and molecular biology, and RSC for remote sensing.
So a real focus on R&D.
Yes, across many fields, that helps keep the innovation engine running.
Okay, so for a city this big, this important, getting around must be crucial. How's the transport infrastructure?
It's pretty well developed. The road network is extensive, includes the huge outer ring road, the ORR, and various expressways to manage traffic.
That ORR must help.
It does. It's also a major railway junction, part of the South Central Railway Zone, so well connected by train.
And the metro?
The Hyderabad Metro Rail is significant. It's actually the second longest operational metro system in India.
Yeah.
Provides a modern public transport option.
Impressive. And flying in and out.
You've got the Rajiv Gandhi International Airport, RGIA, out in Shamshabad. It's consistently ranked as one of India's best airports, handles huge volumes, domestic and international, makes it a very connected city.
So if you're planning a visit, where should you even start? There seems to be so much.
It really depends on your interests. For history buffs, you absolutely have to see Charminar, Golconda Fort, the Qutb Shahi tombs, maybe Falaknuma Palace if you want sheer opulence.
Okay, the classics.
Yeah. For more modern stuff, Ramoji Film City is unique. Hussain Sagar Lake is lovely. Lumbini Park nearby. Birla Planetarium, too.
What about religious sites?
The modern Birla Mandir is stunning, made of white marble. And Mecca Masjid near Charminar is one of the oldest and largest mosques. Chilkur Balaji is famous, too, a bit outside the city.
And shopping. I remember hearing about bangles.
Alad Bazaar,
Yeah.
near Charminar. Famous for lacquer bangles, jewelry, traditional stuff. Great atmosphere. Then there's Sultan Bazaar, more general goods, or head to Jubilee Hills for high-end boutiques and malls. Lots of choice.
Lod Bazaar sounds like a must-do. Beyond the places, what about the city's pulse? Festivals must be a big deal.
Oh, definitely. Hyderabad goes all out for festivals. Both Hindu and Muslim traditions are celebrated with huge enthusiasm.
Like what specifically?
Ganesh Chaturthi is massive, huge processions. And Bonalu is very special. It's the state festival of Telangana. Very colorful, unique to the region.
Okay.
Then you have Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, which are major community events for the Muslim population. And of course, Diwali, Holi, Ramzan, Muharram, all celebrated widely. It reflects that diverse cultural fabric.
Sounds incredibly vibrant. Finally, the source mentions some famous people connected to Hyderabad. It's quite a list.
It is. Shows the city's reach. You've got the painter M.F. Hussain, the poet and freedom fighter Sarojini Naidu.
The Nightingale of India.
That's her. Then modern figures like tennis star Sania Mirza. Even tech giant Azim Premji has family roots there.
And lots of film stars, too, from Tollywood and Bollywood.
Many have strong connections. It just highlights Hyderabad's influence across so many different fields: arts, politics, sports, business, entertainment.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, Hyderabad is clearly, well, complex, deep history living right alongside very modern tech.
Exactly. It hasn't lost its past. You feel those layers, but it's also this economic engine, the center of learning.
A cultural melting pot, too.
Mm.
All these threads weave together to create its unique identity.
They really do, and it makes you think, doesn't it? Seeing this journey from a sultanate capital known for pearls and poetry to this global tech hub, it poses a question for you, the listener. What does Hyderabad's story tell us about how cities can change, how they can innovate and, reinvent themselves while somehow holding on to their heritage? Which part of this transformation do you find most compelling, and why?
A lot to ponder there. It's a city that certainly invites more exploration.